Okay, we're really gonna do a 3-minute Wednesday right now. Let's go. Okay, so I got a text message from a friend of mine, a woman that I used to work with. We now just paddle together, like friends. And she said, hey, I'm going on a 4-day sailing trip. She's somewhat new to sailing as well. I would say experience-wise, I'm a little bit ahead of her. And she said, how should I pack? She's going in November. How should I pack compared to the way that I would pack for a paddling trip? And so I said, pack like you're going paddling, just don't plan on submersion. And then she said, do you wear a PLB in your PFD? And I said, that is way too in-depth of a question for me to answer via text. Let's do this via video. So the reason that that's a big question is that it's really completely different in a sailboat versus a kayak. And so the thing that you have to understand is that as a paddler paddling in the ocean or any big water, we plan on getting separated from our boats. When it goes bad in a kayak, it goes really bad. And so because we plan on getting separated from our boats, we have to be prepared for being in the water alone trying to get a rescue. And then keep in mind that when you're wearing a PFD, your only thing that's visible is your head and your shoulders. And something that really bothers me is that the underside of most high-performing kayaks is white. Generally, the deck is a color and the hull is white. And when you flip that over and put it out in the water, and then the wind kicks up, it looks just like a white cap. So it's a nightmare. And I actually talked to a Coast Guard rescue pilot about it. She said, yeah, absolutely, you people are invisible. So let's start with differences in PFDs. And so we're at the van, because that's where my PFD is. So I really like over-the-head PFDs. And when I'm paddling, I should have a PLB in here connected to me. I've also got a whistle, it's not in here right now, a whistle connected to me. And when I'm in the ocean, a light source, a strobe, a gel stick, a flare, a dye marker, all that stuff needs to be connected to me so that when I get separated from my boat, I've got all those things at hand, right? And some people will even have water on their back in a camelback sort of system. And so that's how we do it kayaking. We plan on getting separated from the boat. You have all that stuff connected to you. Some things that I don't do that I should: my VHF radio lives in the cockpit of my boat. It's easy enough for me to grab, but really it should be connected to me. And there are times when I say, this water is getting rough, this is getting scary, and I'll set up my VHF radio and I'll connect it to my PFD so I've got it. Okay. And I wear my PFD tighter than that, don't worry. Let's go inside and see how sailing is different. Okay. While I'm still fairly new to sailing, because I find this stuff really fascinating, I do a lot of research and a lot of reading and a lot of thinking about sort of how to do things. And so this is how it's different for sailing versus what we were talking about outside, which is kayaking. This is how you die on a sailboat. A storm comes or really bad weather comes and you get knocked off of the boat and into the water and are never seen again. Even if you're wearing a PFD, the vast majority of people take that back. No. The vast majority of people who die sailing die by getting separated from the boat. And so that's what we don't want to happen, which is different than the way we think about it in a kayak. So here is my sailing PFD. Again, it's an over the head. And this has a harness that I would be wearing. I would clip and it would go between my legs. And then I'm going to grab from my sailing bin a tether which connects to right here. and then connects me to the boat. And so our plan in a sailboat is to just never be disconnected from the boat. So I still am wearing a PFD just in case, but hopefully I stay connected to the boat. Now, would I have a PLB? And for those of you that don't know, a PLB is a personal locator beacon, which is a small electronic device. I've got an old one here someplace, but I don't know where it is. A small electronic device that sends a rescue message via satellite. And so if the weather were bad enough, I would connect a PLB to my PFD or put it inside my jacket or connect it to me in some other way. All boats going out in the ocean, full boats, not kayaks, will have an EPIRB, which is a much bigger personal locator beacon. It's no longer personal. It's an emergency position indicating radio beacon. And that's designed so that when it goes in the water, it sends a signal off immediately. And that goes up via satellite to rescue folks. And so that's the two different ways that we think about it. In the kayak, we're planning on getting separated from the boat. In the sailboat, our goal is to never get separated from the boat. Okay, that was 90 seconds, 3 minutes, something like that. That was the quick answer. I'll see you outside. Okay,